Hello fantasy managers and welcome back to another video from myself, Will, and fantasyfootballhub.co.uk. In this video, I'm going to be having a look at how my team performed last week before moving on to my team for Game Week 8, including my transfer thoughts and my captaincy. Let's get into it. If you are new around here, this is effectively a diary of my team, tracking the highs and the lows along the way, aiming for my 7th top 10k finish. A little bit of a way off that at the moment, but yeah, been in similar situations and finished with a top 10k. So if you are interested to see that journey, then please do subscribe to the channel with the notifications turned on. Okay, so I went on holiday last game and I didn't produce one of these videos. I actually had a bit of a stinker last game. Actually, it was a big stinker last game. We got 38 points, I think. Dropped from 500k down to 850k. This game week, 65 points, moving back up in the right direction. Not quite the back up to the level that I was, but just under 600k. So yeah, going in the right direction, but still not quite where I want to be this season. But overall, I'm actually pretty happy with my team. Even last game week when I scored 38 points, I actually thought, pretty unlucky. And, there's a lot of players that I still liked in that team. So ahead of game week 7, I did 2 transfers. I took out Mahrez, I took out Malpay, and I brought in Rashford, and I brought in Bamford. Rashford, a little bit of a punt. Bamford, I was a little more convinced on, and that's probably still the way I feel. Obviously Bamford missing some golden chances on Monday night. So pretty unfortunate. You can say that he really should have scored those and it wasn't really unlucky. But I always prefer, my strikers to be getting chances and missing chances rather than not getting any chances at all. So I'm happy to see that he's getting lots of chances. Rashford, obviously he scored the hat-trick midweek in the Champions League, and then Manchester United just looked completely insipid at the weekend against Arsenal. They have obviously got goals in them, so I'm not massively concerned. I am going to hold on to him, certainly for the next 2 game weeks. Everton away, hopefully they get a little bit more space, not the easiest fixture. But then obviously they've got West Brom at home, where he could well be my captain, actually. I think that's obviously, what I'm going to be doing quite a lot this season is targeting Fulham and West Brom. And certainly over the next few game weeks, that's going to be one of my tactics. And Rashford at home against West Brom in game week 9 is probably going to be my captain. From there, I might actually look to move him out because, as I'll come to later, there's a big fixture swing, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. But yeah, I'm happy to have him in my team for the time being. The rest of the team, Martinez, obviously 0 points is not what you want, but he's got some really good upcoming fixtures. If I was going to play my wild card now, I probably wouldn't be in there. Probably look to Mendy from Chelsea. I think that he's looking a great shout. Chilwell, very happy to have him in my team. Unlucky not to get more than the clean sheet. Look very attacking. Obviously, those with Kurt Zouma are doing very well, but I'm happy to have Chilwell over Zouma. I think over the long term, Chilwell will outperform him. Robertson, obviously not performing. Going to touch on him a little bit later. Dallas, I'm very happy with the goal, obviously. I'm getting my rotation between him and Lamptey wrong. They seem to be performing better in the more difficult fixtures. Obviously, Lamptey scoring away to Spurs. Looking at the midfield, Grealish absolutely smashing it. Salah smashing it. Son, a blank, but I'm certainly not looking to move him out. So fairly happy with the midfield, fairly happy with the strike force as well. I said Bamford getting a lot of opportunities. Kane is Kane. And Calvert-Lewin continuing to churn out the points. As we'll come to shortly, there's going to be an interesting inflection point, especially with Spurs, where they've got West Brom this weekend, obviously. So, hold on to your assets for this weekend. But then their fixtures turn pretty ugly, to be honest. So there's going to be an interesting debate whether we hold on to our Spurs assets. I'm a bit 50-50 at the moment. I'd like to hold on to them. Do I want 2 of them when they go into this really, really tough fixture run? I'm not sure at the moment. So that's going to be, the big decision for me over the next few game weeks is whether I hold on to those Spurs assets. Okay, so this is how the team is shaping up for the upcoming game week. Probably going to save a transfer. I like going into the international break with 2 free transfers, and I'm pretty happy with my team for the upcoming game week. Obviously Martinez away to Arsenal isn't ideal, but then Villa got a really nice run of fixtures after that, so happy to hold on to him. Lamptey, I hope he can start because I think that's a great match for him. Burnley at home. Burnley looking pretty blunt from an attacking point of view, so I think that's a really good fixture for Lamptey. Robertson will come in if he doesn't play, so that's not not the end of the world. Obviously, a tricky away fixtures to Man City. This is why he's currently benched. Okay, so having a quick look at the fixture ticker, and I think it is really really important to be aware of this because there's quite a big fixture shift coming up, and the main one really is Spurs. So this is sorted by attack over the next 6 game weeks, and as you can see, obviously West Brom at home is a lovely fixture for them. But then going on from Gameweek 9, they've got Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal, Crystal Palace away. Even that isn't an easy fixture. And then Liverpool away. So really, really horrible run of fixtures. Obviously, Kane's son in a lot of people's teams, in my team. And I think, this is a potential opportunity where you could look to take them out and bring other players in. Now, I think the difficult part is, which players to bring in. And, City are the obvious ones there. They've got Liverpool and Spurs at the next 2, but then they go on a really nice run. Burnley, Fulham, West Brom, all at home in the next 4 after that. Sandwiched between there is Manchester United away, but really, really strong on fixtures, and that's potentially one of the switches that I'll be looking to make. If Manchester United are still looking pretty insipid, then I'll probably look to do Rashford to De Bruyne in game week 10, and so a little bit of planning, I can look to free up that little bit of money. Potentially it would be Robertson at downgrade that I'll be looking at. I'm still Liverpool actually have better defensive numbers since Van Dijk got injured. Obviously they've played West Ham and Sheffield United both at home, so you don't want to read too much into that, but they're still going to be challenging for the title. They're still probably going to be favourites to actually win the title. So I don't think their defence is a complete no-go. So just to highlight that point with Van Dijk playing versus Van Dijk not playing, game weeks 1 to 4 is highlighted in blue here, and that's with Van Dijk playing. Game weeks 6 and 7, so last 2 game weeks, that's without Van Dijk playing. And as you can see, Liverpool's defensive stats have actually increased since Van Dijk has been out. So, take this with a massive, massive pinch of salt because they were playing 2 fairly easy home games, and obviously they didn't keep clean sheets in those fairly easy home games. But I still think it's worth highlighting that Liverpool defence isn't going to suddenly completely fall apart just because they have Van Dijk out. Just going back to the fixture ticker here, and I think obviously it's worth saying that West Ham, they had a terrible start to the season. Now they're looking like they've got a really, really good run of fixtures. Fulham, Sheffield United, Aston Villa, Man United at home, Leeds away, Crystal Palace. Really, really nice run of fixtures. I think the one thing that, I was pretty set on bringing Antonio in this game week. Obviously, he's got injured and he's got a long injury history, which we thought he was over it, but it doesn't look like he is. And I would say that he's probably their talisman. I'm not really convinced by their midfield picks. The likes of Fornal, Bowen, Souček. These are good picks and they're good players, but when there's a few of them and I'm never quite sure which one to pick, then I tend to ignore them. Certainly from the mid-table teams, I think you can look at non-talisman players from the bigger teams, but certainly for the mid-table and lower teams, I like to pick the talisman. Shout out to our friends who got the assist, who sort of came up with this whole talisman idea and showed it statistically to be really, really important. So for me, if Antonio isn't an option, then I probably won't look to one of the West Ham midfielders. I think there are a lot of other good midfielder options. I'm certainly not looking to take out any of my midfielders for a West Ham midfielder. So I'm not particularly hot on the West Ham attackers, but I do think that there is potentially some pretty good value in their defence. I really like Cresswell. I think that he's if you've got the budget of 5.1, then he's probably the guy to go for. He's whipping in those brilliant free kicks, those brilliant crosses from the left-hand side. And Kufal, he's probably the budget option. Do you also like Masuaku? There's a slim chance that Masuaku could potentially lose his pace, depending if West Ham switch formation. So my picks would probably be Cresswell and Kufal. If you're looking for a defender, I think that these two could be really, really good shouts over the coming game weeks. Okay, so switching back to my team, I'm currently looking at Rashford to De Bruyne in game week 10. So give Rashford game week 8 against Everton, give him game week 9 against West Brom, where he very well could be my captain. Then switch him to De Bruyne in game week 11. Obviously, need to free up funds for that. I'm currently looking at Robertson, but as I mentioned, I'm not Completely convinced that he's. I want to get rid of him. I think that he's gonna come the end of the season. I think that he could be in the top 5 defenders in the entire game easily, if not top 3. And I think that he still offers really good value. So I'm not convinced I necessarily want to lose him. So I currently got the captaincy on Heung-min Son. It's very, very much 50-50. I'm not convinced that he's going to stay on Son. I very well could end up on Kane, but I'm going to explain why I've currently got it on Heung-min Son. Okay, so this is comparison between Heung-min Son in blue, Harry Kane in red, and I'm looking at home matches. So looking at that, Kane absolutely bosses Son on all the key numbers. If you're going to captain a Spurs player at home, then it's got to be Harry Kane. He's looking by far the best pick. But you switch this to away, and the landscape just completely changes. And obviously, West Brom away is potentially Son territory. You look at expected points, he's absolutely smashing Kane. You look at expected goals, he's smashing Kane. Big chances, smashing Kane. Shots in his box, about even. And shots on target, again, Heung-min Son is beating Kane. Kane is, from that graph, you can see, obviously, he's the more creative one. But obviously, you're looking for the goal scorer. And this actually marries up to the eye test. You look at when they play away from home, Kane does tend to sit deeper and, play those through balls to Son, who gets ahead of the defence. So I think there's a really big opportunity here for Son. But, I'm not selling it. Kane still has penalties, which are massive, and he's still very much capable of outscoring Son. So as I said, 50-50 at the moment. I think it will certainly be going to one of these two. I don't really see any other standout options, but I know that majority of people are probably going to go Harry Kane just because he scored more points last game. That tends to be the way the captaincy goes, but I think there is an opportunity here that Son could well outscore him. So that's what I'm looking at the moment, but yeah, very much 50-50 on captaincy. If you did enjoy this video, please do like and subscribe to the channel. If you want to try out all our member resources completely free for 7 days, just go to fantasyfootballhub.co.uk/free trial. I'll leave a link in the description and in the information card above. But otherwise, good luck for the upcoming game week. See you on the other side.